أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi jamian, and thank you very much for joining for this course on Ziyarat to Iraq. This is a webinar. Once a year or twice a year we do this thing. Last year we had something similar, but we did it just before Rajab, because people used to go for Rajab Ziyarat. But then we realized that many people also go to Ziyarat during December holidays. So this year we decided to target December time, whereby we can just benefit Mu'mineen who are going for Ziyarat. So as announced in our flyer, that inshallah we'll cover the importance of pilgrimage to Najaf, Karbala, Kazmin, and Samarra, focusing on the practical issues such as Salat when traveling by airplane, offering wudu using a spray bottle under 100 milliliter, and when we can say complete prayers despite being there for under 10 days. Sometimes only if you're under 10 days, you can still say complete namaz. Otherwise, of course, usually, as you know, when we're under 10 days, we usually say qasr namaz. But we'll also discuss the spiritual aspect of Ziyarat itself. So let's begin. This is when all those of you, I'm sure many of you have been to Ziyarat. Inshallah, this is a number of times you are going. And maybe some of you are the first timers, some of you have been there before. In any case, whether you go for the first time or you go for the second time or third time, or for example, I think one of the person today was going to log in is Brother Mehboob Gigi Merali, who takes groups to Iraq and also nowadays Iran. So he has been there, mashallah, so many times. Maybe, I don't know if he remembers himself or not. So people have been there. So one of the things which we are doing when it comes to Quran, right, that always as Muslims, our focus is that what we are doing, is it this in line with the Quran or not? So there is no doubt that as far as we, the Shias, are concerned, that we try to display our muhabbat and mawaddah to the Prophet and his Ahl Bayt through the process of ziyarah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking Rasulullah to ask the Muslims, tell the Muslims, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى ومن يقترف حسنة نزد له فيها حسنا إن الله غفور رحيم. An ayat of Quran, I'm sure you heard it many times because many scholars use this ayat as the main ayat of discussion in the lectures. So you can see Allah says, and we are told that people were so pleased at the service of the Prophet, the way he interacted with them, his gentleness, his kindness, the way he was about to bring about religiosity. Most important, he was about to bring about the unity amongst Muslims, amongst the Ummah, that love and affection between Muslims. He had tried to instill such a kind of love between fellow Muslims that they came to him and said that, how can we pay you back? It's a human nature, right? You should know one thing, that human always would like to repay the good done to him or her. This is not only human, even animals. I always give this example. I can see some of the people from Vancouver here joining. So I stayed there for 14 years, recited so many majalis there. And people also, I saw as just now before this class, I was going through the list. And I saw many people from Toronto also logged in. I give this example that if you, for example, are outside your door at the entrance, you find a cat just trying to, just there and waiting for you to open so that you give that cat some milk, right? If the cat knows that at this place I'm going to get milk, so it will just come and try to cry and just say that, oh, open the door and give me something. So you go inside, just bring a plate of milk and keep in front of the cat, right? Notice this thing. That cat is hungry or thirsty, right? It really is wanted you to open the door and give them milk. Even then, you know, because the cat is hungry, immediately, of course, immediately it will just, start taking the sip of milk from that plate or from that bowl which you have kept outside. But after having done, taken just few sip, only because at that time she was hungry, or maybe she's testing that this is milk. We don't know. But you'll see after the first sip, after just taking few, immediately it will look at you, and that is the cat's way of thanking you, right? That you are thanking. So Muslims came to Rasulullah and said that we'd like to thank you for the services. So Allah says, Kul, O Muhammad, tell them, La as'alukum ali ajran. About that, my efforts, I don't ask you any kind of reward. Illa mawaddata fil qurba. Except that the love of my relatives, of qurba. وَمَنْ يَقْتَرِفْ حَسَنَةً نَزِدْ لَهُ فِيهَا. And then Allah says, whoever performs a good deed, we shall enhance his goodness for him. Indeed, Allah is all forgiving and all appreciative. Right? Subhanallah. So Allah is Shakur. Subhanallah, when we do something, Allah will also appreciate it. So keep this in mind that when we do good, Allah appreciates it. So this is, we believe that when we go to Karbala, we go to Samarra, we go to Kazmain, we go to Najaf, we go to Mashhad, right? We go to Qum, we go to Medina. All those places when you go, besides being that, we actually are expressing our love. That if Imam al-Islam today was living, Imam Imam is living, but he's in Ghaibah. But if Imam was living physically, we would make a point to go and visit him. There is no doubt in it. Thousands of Shias will make every effort to go and visit the Imam. But they are not there with us, right? We go and visit their grave. So this is to show that mawadda, of the relatives. And then Allah says, "Oh, yaktarif hasana, nazid lahu fiha husna." And whoever is going to perform good deeds, we should enhance his goodness for him. Indeed, Allah is all forgiving and all, appreciative. So this is mawadda, right? And mawadda, we are told by the scholars that mawadda is not only a love, it's a kind of love that will last irrespective of circumstances. For example, sometimes you find there is a love between husband and wife, between a young couple, right? There's a real love, but over time that love fades up, on account of what that maybe there's disagreement, or maybe what he was expecting of her or she was expecting from him did not appear, but they still continue their life. It's okay, since this is a marriage, the parents and the family, and they say don't break the marriage, continue in your life. But there is not that love, that spark which was there in the beginning, right? No, mawadda is that kind of love that from the time we have love of the Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt, that from the time we realized that Prophet was a great person, so was his family, and they have done a lot for Islam. And I, as a Shia, I would like to express my love. So that love, that affection, that compassion would last forever, irrespective of your age, irrespective of of circumstances. So that is mawadda, right? So look at this example we have put here. Mawadda is derived from the root word madda, meaning to love something. Raqib al-Isfahani, who is a great scholar who has prepared a dictionary of the Quran, one of the oldest dictionaries of the Quran, which all the mufassirun, when they do tafsir, whenever they try to discuss a word, they use this as a source. Al-Mufradat al-Alfaz al-Quran by Raghib al-Isfahani. Also considers wadda to mean to wish. He maintains that wadda is used for both meanings. And in fact, the act of wishing for something involves love and liking for that. Because you like something, this you wish for that, right? Based on numerous proofs, the Shia believe that al-Qurba refers to the members of the Holy Prophet, the Ahlul Bayt. The most distant of them being Ali, right? Most distinct of being the Imam Ali, Fatima, Al Hassan, Hussein, and the rest of 9 divinely guided leaders of the progeny of Hussein. This is our belief. That means all, from right from Imam Ali to Imam Mahdi. We have that these are part of Qurba, right? In his book, Allama Hilli, in his book Nahj al-Haq, he says, he ranks the verse of Mawadda as the 4th verse from the Quran, which established the divine authority, Imam Ali ibn Talib. He says, There are a number of verses which talks about Imam Ali's authority. The fourth verse is this. Expounding on this verse relates a report from Ibn Abbas who said, when the words of Mawadda was revealed, the Prophet was asked, who are those people upon whom love is incumbent, wajib upon us? And the Prophet clearly said, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein. No. And thereafter, of course, Allah Hilli states that the obligation to love someone necessitates the obligation of obeying him. So that is also another thing, that yes, there are so many also respect and even revere the Ahlul Bayt, but we have a difference. We don't only revere the Ahlul Bayt, but we also follow them, we obey them. Oh, keep this in mind. And now, of course, earlier, as we said, you can see in the Quran, in the ayat, it says what it says that the one who is going to perform a good deed, nazid lahu fi hasana, then we are going to increase goodness in it. So what is this hasana? So let's try to find the meaning of hasana. So again, coming to this thing, this has been defined by Imam Hassan al-Islam himself. Imam Hassan addressed the people towards the dawn on the night which Imam Amir Mumin was died. Now, Imam Ali was struck on 19th of Ramadan. On 21st of Ramadan, as you know, he died. So the dawning, the first dawn after that, right, he becomes now Khalifa. So he's addressing now the Shias, right? He says, I am the grandson of the one who brought the good news. I am the grandson of the one who warned. I am the grandson of the one, the man who, with Allah's permission, summoned the people to Allah. I am the grandson of the light that shone out of the earth. I am the house. I am of the house from which God has sent away abomination and whom God has purified. That means he's Ahlul Bayt. I am of the house for whom God has required love in his book, right? Then he also quotes this ayat, subhanAllah. Then he says, subhanAllah, I did not ask for you any reward except love of my king. Whoever earns good will increase good for himself. Then Imam clarifies this, Imam Hassan. The good is love for us, the how, right? So this hasana, that means the more love you show, Allah is going to increase. And that is why some of you have been to Ziyarat, you still want to go. And even those who have gone, they would still like to go. People feel like, because Allah Himself makes that opening, that you have done something good of visiting the Ahlul Bayt, Allah will make a way out of you. I always tell, sometimes people call us and say that would like to go for a ziyarat, please suggest to a group. So I tell, for example, this group, I can't suggest a group because it won't be fair, but I can at least tell them that I've been with this group, I've been with this group, I've been with this group. Alhamdulillah, I found all of them to be a good group, these groups which I've been with. So, but then they say, oh, tell us which is the most cheap group, or what is the best. And I tell them that provided if you can't afford, if you can afford, don't count every penny and every cent and every dollar, right? Because you don't realize how much barakat is there that you are doing this ziyarah. Keep this in mind. So this is it that Allah has promised that the one who earns or does good, we will increase good for himself. Allah is going to increase good for you. So keep that in mind. So this is, I thought that please, when we go for ziyarah, this is how we should keep in mind that we are actually following the ayat of Quran. This is our love we are showing. Okay? Now, the most important thing about the ziyarah, because I have been, alhamdulillah, a number of times for ziyarah to Hajj also, and a number of times also have been a religious guide, as a murshid, as a religious guide. And unfortunately, one thing which I see lacking there is that people are more concerned about the physical comfort, about the physical aspect of the ziyarah. The comfort, what kind of food I'll get, what kind of room I'll get, what are the facilities, all those things. I know these are important for you to enjoy a ziyarah. But then that is not the only thing, right, which is important. We sometimes overlook the spiritual aspect of it. So Allama Tabatabai, may Allah raise his status, has quoted ayat in the context of Hajj and Umrah, right? But it also applies to ziyarah. This is ayat number 197 of Surah Al-Baqarah. You'll see that it talks about Hajj, Then in that ayat, Allah says at the end, وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ. Whatever good you do, Allah is aware of that. Of course, we know about it, right? But even then, Allah says, فَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ وَتَزَوَّدُوا إِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Then he says, of course, always prepare your provision. And this provision is not the physical provision. That when, for example, when you go for ziyarat, you're making sure that you have your visa, you're making sure that you've got medication, you're making sure that you've got enough snacks to take with, you're making sure that you've got accommodation. Yes, these are all provision. But here, no, Allah says, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Yes, make provisions. Always make provisions for your trip, whether it is Umrah, whether it is Hajj, whether it's Ziyarat. Make. But then Allah says, keep in mind, the best provision is the provision of taqwa, of piety. وَاتَّقُونِي يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Even after, subhanAllah, a wise person does not repeat himself. But subhanAllah, because Allah knows best human psychology, He has created us, right? Allah has said that taqwa is the best provision. But maybe some of us say, okay, Allah was just mentioning about it. No, He does not stop there. He says, after telling you that try to achieve taqwa, after informing us that of all the provision, taqwa is the best provision, Allah says, no. Now He's commanding me. But taquni, have my taqwa, be parhezgar of me. Ya ulil albab. Ulil albab are people who are, not unmindful, people who are not heedless, people who are intelligent, people when something is told to them, they think about it, they ponder. So Allah mentions in Quran 13 or 14 times ulil albab. So, but takuni albab, people who have understanding, just try to, pay attention to this, that have piety, right? So Allama Tabatabai then gives a good commentary in Al-Mizan. He says, it is a reminder that one's actions are not hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It calls one to piety and fear of Allah so that one's acts of worship might not be devoid of the spirit of devotion. Do you see? This is what is very concerned. That we are concerned about mustahabat, wajibat, which is good, all this, but the spirit of it, the spirit should not be left out. So he says the acts of ibadat should not be devoid, should not be lacking the spirit of devotion, so that one might not go through the external rites of or worship with one's mind absent and one's heart forgetful. So, like for example, I am there on the musalla, my body is there. I'm saying, qiyam, ruku, sajda, qaud, everything is there. Tashahud, salam, everything is there, right? But then my mind is not there. My heart is not there. So Lama Tabatabai says that keep in mind that as you try to undertake this journey, the mind and the heart should be there. It's very important. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Don't allow at all. Sometimes because of some discomfort, because of something, for example, somebody said in your group something which you did not like it, and then it always, it make you lose your sleep, make you lose the joy of ziyarah. That should not happen. So spiritual aspect is very important. These are, of course, inshallah, those who have been there, you know about it, but these are some of the photographs I just put there, just as to give a break from continuous talking, right? But one of the important things is there is you can see book there, right? Mafatul Jinan, subhanallah, has now been translated professionally by Sayyid Ali Kuli Karai, who has also translated the Quran. He translated the entire Quran, and then he translated Mafatul Jinan. After translating Mafatul Jinan, this Mafatul Jinan is in 2 volumes. The first part is all the dua, short dua. The second part is ziyarat. So if you don't have this set, at least now, because you are going for ziyarat, many of you should have this book, Mafatul Jinan, volume 2. You can order from Amazon. And let me tell you one thing, the price which Amazon is charging, I don't know now, but maybe some years ago, it was around $40. Actually, check just now, but in any case, you can check it there. That price is even less than the postage. If a book like this, Mafatul Jinan, if I were to just now ship it to Vancouver or to Edmonton or to New York from Toronto, it would cost me more than the price of this. So it is a book that you should try to have it. Let me just bring it. I have it just now here. So this is the book. You can see, and it has how many pages? Yeah, almost 700 pages. No, so this is a paperback. If I were to post this book, it will take more than $40-50 nowadays. So this, at that price, the Amazon is going to give you shipping included. So try to have your own copy. It's beautiful. It's translated well. Not only there are ziyarat, but before ziyarat, there are all those, instructions. Sometimes even the hadiths, relevant hadiths regarding the fazilah and the excellence and merits of the ziyarat. So it's a worthwhile investment. And if you can get a hardcover, that is even better, because then you can keep it for long. To keep it, this is something I thought you should have it in case if you don't have it. No, but there are also other translations before that, but this translation I found is quite good to the original. It's professional. At only some instances he uses some difficult words. Hopefully, inshallah, he's still living Allah, giving the fig that he can, when he revises, he can then simplify those words. No? Now, before we leave, before those of you who are planning to go for Ziyarat now or in Rajab or Shaban, there are certain points to keep in mind. Most important, Iraq is a place where out of 14 Masumeen, 6 Masumeen are buried there. Out of 12 Imams, 6 Imams are buried there, right? So it is a very important place. Besides that, if you go to Wadi Islam, there are also prophets buried there, Hud and Saleh, right? So if you go there, when prophets are buried there, of course, then you go to Karbala, then you go to Shuhada of Karbala. You get also, if you go to Musayyab, you'll find other Shuhada there. So there are a number of Imams and Shuhada buried there, great scholars buried there, right? So what is important? The first important thing is that as you depart, just as you're today taken trouble to be part of this this webinar, try to pick up the book and read. Have the knowledge, ma'rifah about the holy souls. You're going to visit, the sixth Imam. They're going to visit the Abbas al-Islam. You're going to visit Habib ibn Mazahir, right? You're going to visit number of that. Try to have the ma'rifah of this holy soul. And keep in mind there are two kinds of ma'rifah about knowledge of your Imam. One is knowledge based on research and study, known as tahqiq, and the other which is based on following others, known as taqlid. Tahqiq means a person acquires the knowledge by studying until he or she reaches the level of certainty and conviction. Whereas taqlid means you just blindly follow what somebody says. And you just, okay, this must be correct because Malana has said, or so, Sheikh has said, so I said, it's okay. But when you do your self-research, read, and through that reading, you acquire the kind of reverence and respect and love that is beautiful, right? That is the kind of marif. And the same, that is why even the hadith says about marif, it says regarding the 12th Imam, our Imam is living, right? We are told, Man mata walam ya'rif imam zamanihi mata mitatul jahiliya, right? That the person who dies without having the marifat of the Imam of his time has died the death of ignorance. So the same you can see marifat. This yarif is the same, is a root for arafa, marifat. So knowledge which gives you enough understanding and information about that Imam to build that kind of love, that respect, that reverence, right? That is it. Understand and ponder over the Arabic concepts. Yeah, this is important. Look at this. Why I said that have this book and go through the meaning. Don't think, oh, I'm going to do it at that time. At that time, you will have other reciting. For example, you're going with the group, they are going to recite. Just now, as you get time, go through the meanings. Let me tell you my personal experience that you'll be surprised that I've been lecturing for so many years, and every time there is a wafat, that I just go through books and prepare a lecture. But one day I went for Ziyarat of Zainab al-Islam. Unfortunately, I've not been there since the war started, since the civil war started there in Sham, I've not been there. May Allah give me the opportunity to go there. But once when I went there, at that time, I was told to give a small presentation before the ziyarat. So I said that instead of giving a presentation, why don't I look at the meaning of the ziyarat of Ziyarat Islam? Honestly, I'm telling you that when I read the meaning of the ziyarat, I was really surprised what the status of this baby was. Now, suddenly my love, my affection, my respect for Sayyidina Zainab increased so much, in spite of the fact that I've been lecturing and preparing lectures during the Wiladat and Wafat of Zainab, but this was so special. So try to go through the meanings of the ziyarat and see who these personalities are. Right? How different will it be if we visited them during the lifetime? Ask this question: that if Imam Hussein was there, Imam Ali was living just now, if Imam Jawad was living just now, Imam Qasim was living, how different it would be. So in the same way, for example, that yes, they are not living with us, but their souls are with us. We go and visit them, they realize that we are visiting. They have that full knowledge. They're fully aware that you and me are visiting. So keep that in mind. This is also important. Total humility and reverence when nearing the haram. This is one of my observations, that people leave the hotel as they are going towards the haram. There's so much things to chat about. They talk about, for example, what happened in the hotel today, how was the breakfast today, or how rush will be there, forgetting that no, now you are going to visit your imam. The moment you leave hotel, the moment you forget about everything, just think that you are now going to be present in the front of the imam. So try to show your humility, that reverence, that respect as you are nearing the haram. That is very important, right? And then, of course, ask the question, how can I change myself upon returning from the ziyarat? Every trip of ziyarat, every visit to ziyarat should bring about that kind of changes in you, that you feel that no, I am really have changed because of that. That should be our goal. So this, if you reflect on it, and if you put, for example, you can take a piece of paper or a small book and just write it. These are my goals, right? And as once you do that thing, keep that book in your pocket every time. It reminds me that this is my goals are. Am I achieving those goals? Am I being distracted or not? Am I achieving something more? No, no, that you are fortunate. Not only that, whatever goal you had, you are getting more than that. But that's important. We try to see. This is a very good dua, which I found in Bihar, volume 97, page 112. A beautiful dua that whenever you are traveling, especially you travel for a divine trip, to Umrah, to Ziyarah, to Hajj, right? Even visiting your parents, that is also a when you visit your parents, relatives, that is also has a status. That also has a lot of reward, right? So as you are doing this, recite this sentence, and I urge all of us here present to memorize this. Allahumma al masiri ibran wa samti tafakkuran wa kalami zikran. Subhanallah, you can see. As you are traveling, there are three things, right? Either you are traveling, either you are quiet, or you are talking, right? And all these things, there is a guidance. Allahumma al masiri ibran. Allah make my travel as a ibrat, as a way of achieving lessons, derive lessons, as I see around. Always see people around you. There will be somebody whose namaz, whose ibadat, whose dua recitation, whose munajat may be better than yours. Look around. The moment you find a mu'min or mu'mina who's better than you in the ibadat, pray for that person, that may Allah increase his or her tawfiq, but pray to Allah that, oh Allah, give me tawfiq that I can imitate so and so. I remember that when I was growing up, always I said, how can I'm so far, I don't know how imams used to pray, how prophet used to pray. I wish I was living to look at them and then imitate them, right? But that was not possible. Then I said that how long will I just think about this? I know that this is not possible. Provided that, if Allah gives me long life and when Imam Zamana, appears, it's different, right? I said, no, okay. At least since Prophet Imams are not in my presence, I'm not living in their time, what I can do, I can look at some great scholars, right? And look at their ibadat, some pious people, look at their ibadat, right? And try to imitate. So, Allahumma jal masir ibn. As I look around, people who have good akhlaq, good ibadat, good interaction, good demeanor, right? You find that you appreciate that, admire that, pray for that person, but pray to Allah that you also be given, right? وَسَنْتِ تَفَكُّرًا. And when I keep quiet, at that time, I'm just thinking, tafakkur, just think about Allah's creations, Allah's blessings around you. You always like tafakkur. وَكَلَامِ ذِكْرًا. And if I have to speak, I don't have to speak and gossip and chat and not be like a chatterbox. No, it should be for dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a beautiful dua, a short but powerful dua. Allahumma al masiri ibra wa samti tafakkura wa kalami dhikra. Okay, so try to memorize this thing and do this thing. Let us try to avoid unnecessary talk, look back at our life to do istighfar for the year. That is important. That it's good that we look back. Just now we are going through the problem in Palestine is, our brothers and sisters and children are being killed, right? So when this started, honestly, the first thing I said to myself, Ya Allah, I will pray for them. I will donate whatever I can, right? I'll participate in the protest. I'll send letters to my local politician. But before that, I want to ask myself, am I responsible in any way on account of what's happening? So when I looked at myself, I'm not talking about you or even for my family or anybody. When I looked at myself, I said, yes, I'm also responsible. Why? Because these people have been suffering not only today or yesterday. It did not start on 8th of October when it started, when the war started. No. They've been suffering for 75 years, right? And so often they've been killed, they've been, for example, bombarded, this thing. At that time, I said to myself, did I raise a voice? Did I talk to my MP? Did I write a letter? So I said to myself that did I do the thing or not? So it is important. Let us look at our past and then do istighfar, right? So, oh Allah, this is what I have done. Now I should not repeat it. So we do sincere istighfar and try to observe, as I said, people who are godly, whose behavior, whose akhlaq, whose interactions, ibadat is better, and learn from it. It really makes. Now, let me give you an example, although I don't want to run short of time, but let me give you an example. There was a good scholar by the name Maududi. I don't know, those of you know.
Microphones are muted. They can hear you.
Can you have people mute, please, just now? I'll give you time to ask questions, but if you can mute. So this Maududi, Abdullah Maududi, he's a great scholar in Pakistan. He has also authored a number of books, including Tafsir of Quran, which is known as Tafhim al-Quran, right? He said, when I went to visit Ayatollah Muslim Hakim, it reminded me of the prayers of Rasulullah. You can imagine. A Sunni scholar visiting an Ayatollah in Najaf and looked at his ibadat, looked at his simplicity, looked at his akhlaq, and said, it reminded me of the Prophet's time. So this is what it is, right? So this is it, that let us look around us, people who are godly, and see that what kind of inspiration. Yeah. Ensure, right, that we don't, this is the most important moment. Again, this is my observation. I observe that people, when they go for ziyarat, they just think that no, because we are musafir, it is fine for us to take the normal prayers lightly. In any case, I say my namaz every day when I'm back home in Toronto, London, or wherever you are joined today from, right? But now when I travel, at that time, I should be more concerned about ziyarat. Namaz, if I can make it, fine. If I delay, or it's okay. No, that should not be the case. On account of being a traveler and lacking good facilities, many pilgrims delay their daily prayers, sometimes even miss them. Try to let us avoid this thing totally. Look at what the Imam says. The sixth Imam says, Hajjatun afdul min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. He said performing Hajj is better than this world and whatever is in it, in the whole this world, right? وَالصَّلَاةٌ فَيْدَةٌ, and a wajib prayer, أَفْضَلُ مِنْ أَلْفِ حَجَّةٍ, and a wajib prayer is better than 1,000 sunnat hajj. You can imagine, 1,000 sunnat hajj. When you go for ziyarat, most probably it is sunnah. It's only wajib, for example, if you do nazar, right? Otherwise it's sunnah. So imagine sunnat hajj, 1,000 sunnat hajj is less than one wajib prayer. And this is, I've also given a book, Tahzib al-Ahkam. This is one of the 4 canonical books of Shia. Wasail al-Shia is the book which has 38,000 hadiths, and all the mujtahideen, when they give their fatwa, they study this book Wasail, right? So this hadith is also found there, you can imagine. So, and you can not do that. It's not me I'm saying. In fact, some of the youngster people went to Ayatollah Sistani and said that we are going for ziyarat. We are going to go for ziyarat. Please give us advice, right? So he gave them advice. It's available. I also just today before finalizing the preparation for the slides today, I checked if this link is active, and it is. No? So you can go to this link. Inshallah, this will be available. So these slides will be posted on our website. You can go to this link and you can even see what Ayatollah Sistani is advised, right? I'll get a few things. It is one of the essentials of the ziyarah that the pilgrim, in addition to remembering Imam Hussein, sacrifice Imam Hussein's Qurban and sacrifices, and his devotion in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, observes the teachings of Islam, including those relating to prayer, hijab, self-reform, selflessness, and moral etiquette, etc., so that his pilgrimage may be a step towards developing and training the soul for accepting these, for accepting these and consolidating their effects until next pilgrimage. So you can see that he says the ziyarat is supposed to change, bring about the change, right? Train your soul. And this is done by taking care of salat, hijab, self-reform, selflessness, moral etiquette. It is very important. Fear Allah in relation to your prayers. Then he especially mentioned, as stated in the hadith, it is pillar of religion and the ascension of the believer. It is miraj of believer. If it is accepted, all other acts will be accepted. If it is rejected, all other acts of prayers of actions are rejected, right? We are told. So this is it. All other acts of worship will also be rejected. It is befitting for believers to offer their prayers on time, because Allah loves those who rush to prayer as soon as they hear the call for it. Okay, so plan yourself. Even, for example, if your travel leader, caravan leader, for example, says you are going to go out for ziyarat today outside, they make sure that it is done in such a way that your namaz time is not compromised. Either you go after namaz, or if you are going to, if the namaz time is to come on the way, then tell the leader that please make sure that we stop somewhere whereby at least our namaz is safe. In olden days, this was different. I remember immediately after the fall of Saddam, I did go for ziyarat. At that time, I also counted. When we travel from, I think, Kazmin to Karbala or Baghdad to Karbala, I don't remember just now, I don't want to give you a wrong thing. But when you travel that trip, either, let's say take a fathers, let's take, for example, from Karbala to Kazmin to Samarra. When we went that trip, there were 37 stops. I remember very well, because of security. Right? So that is different. Those were times where it was difficult. So what happens that even if the prayer time comes, they used to rush, they used to go away until they found a safe place. But that's not the case just now. Just now, you make a point that whenever there is a program prepared for outside ziyarat, it should be done in such a way that the namaz are said in the time, all the time. This is very important. We should not miss out on this. Again, as you can see, Ayatollah Sistani says, it is not appropriate for a believer to engage in any other acts of worship in that time of prayer because prayer is the best form of obedience to Allah. It has been narrated from Al-Bayt that they said our intercession with Allah will not be won by that person who depreciates or undervalues the prayer. We must know that if we act as per their advice, it is hoped that we shall be resurrected along with their friends, because it has been reported by Imam al-Islam that in the Battle of Jamal, he said, today we are accompanied by those who are still in the loins of their fathers and uteruses. So even in the Battle of Jamal, when Prophet Imam Ali was winning at that time, one of his companions said, I wish so and so was there. So Imam said, why are you worried? That those who are with us, they are also, you can see that even those who are not stillborn, those who are in the loins and uterus of their mothers, they are with us today, you can see. So we will, inshallah, we will be Imam if we follow this particular advice. So keep this in mind, Mu'mineen. This is also spirituality that we, although we are travelers, especially when you are traveling on plane, because I can see many people today who have joined are from Toronto, so our trip to Iraq, to Baghdad is very long. In the process, make sure that we still don't miss out on prayers. Okay? Now, one of the purposes of the Ziyarat, what is, and this is a good hadith whereby we are told, right? Al-Hassan bin Ali al-Washar, so Ali bin Hassan bin Ali is a companion of the eighth Imam. He says, Samitu Rida al-Islam. I heard that now Rida al-Islam يقول إن لكل إمام أحدا في عنق أوليائه وشيعته. Now it says, for every Imam, there is a covenant on the neck of his friends and his followers, the Shias. Imam used the word Shiite. وإن من تمام الوفاء بالعهد وحسن الأداء زيارة قبورهم. Now, it says the best way and a complete way to fulfill this covenant, this covenant is to visit their graves. Says, right? And then Imam says, ومن زار, right? It says, ومن زارهم رغبة في زيارتهم وتصديقا بما رغبوا فيه كان أئمة شفعاءهم يوم القيامة. The Imam says that one who goes to this, goes there with a sincere desire of visiting them and with conviction, then the Imams will intercede on their behalf on the day of resurrection. So you can see a number of points, right? One is that there is the kind of pledge, ahad nama. There is an agreement, right? Sometimes keep in mind, the agreement doesn't mean that it is, somebody has to sit with you. For example, once you are in a city, let's say, for example, I live in Concord city, right? Here, the garbage is picked up on every other Friday, right? On Fridays, for example, they will pick up other things and garbage. Now, if I move from Concord to, say, Toronto, I'll see that the garbage is being picked there on Thursday. Other place maybe Tuesday, right? So automatically, although when I moved here, the mayor did not come to my home and just sign it. It was understood that the moment I came here, or whatever those local laws are there will apply to me. In the same way that once we are Shias, there's the kind of ahadnama, there's kind of pledge between us and the Imams. And that covenant is fulfilled by visiting them, because they are not living, so we visit their graves. Just one way, right? And then, of course, not only that, we visit them with what kind of, with a sincere desire of visiting them, with conviction. Now, that means these are the Imams, with conviction that they are the Imams. Then the Imams are going to also, help us intercede, do our shafaat on the day of resurrection. So keep in mind that this particular intention and focus is maintained as we go for Ziyarat. Etiquette of Ziyarat are very many. Okay. After this, I will pause to take questions and then we'll continue, right? So the same book I told you, this Sheikh Abbas Qumi, if you see right in the beginning, right, because he says that, because this is the whole book of Ziyarat, so introduction, etiquette of Ziyarat, right? So it starts from page 1 all the way. You can see etiquette of Ziyarat. Subhanallah, you can see it is there up to page 16. So can you imagine 16 pages in this book? First 16 pages of this are just etiquette of ziyarat. So there are special etiquette, adab of ziyarat. Go through them, it's quite interesting. What we have mentioned in the slides are only few, right? It is, if possible, try to travel on select days. Better travel on Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Again, no, this is not in your hand. Example, let's say that no, you are going with a group, then the person, the group leader will decide. But what you can do, for example, let's say that you are going to meet your group in Dubai, or you are going to meet your group, for example, let's say in Baghdad, you're going to group your group, for example, somewhere in between, right? So maybe what you can do, at least the first part where you have a choice, you can travel on these days, preferably. Try to go on Saturday or Tuesday or Thursday, and try to avoid traveling on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But of course, if you have to, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday before Zohar, right? If you have to go, there's nothing wrong with this. These are not hard and fast. Just give sadaqah and do it. But when you have choice, do this. Right? Try to fast 3 days before your ziyarat. This is important, especially mentioned. No? Try to fast. No? Fasting actually is a big kafara, right? So it is that we try to just clean ourselves. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Try to do and then start. No? And then, of course, before leaving, you'll do all you'll take your insurance, police, those fine. But one of the best insurance is also give sadaqah. So the fifth Imam says regarding his father, the fourth, in Abi ishtara as-salamata min Allah azza wa jalla bima tayassar. He says, my father used to buy, ishtara, you can say, my father used to purchase the safety for his trip from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by giving whatever he could afford. Bima tayassar. Again, he doesn't say how much you give. 1 golden coin, 10 golden coins, 50 silver coins, nothing like that. He says, Bima tayassar. Everybody has his own ability. Some of you can give more, some of you can give less, but do that, right? At least you try to buy the safety for your trip. Then there is a hadith, right? That Jabir bin Mat'am, now, Prophet asked him whether he wished to have the best companions and provision with him when he was on his journey. He says, would you like to have best companion, best provision? He said, yes, in fact. Prophet said, recite these 5 surahs, Al-Kafirun, Al-Nasr, Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and Nas. And begin your session with Bismillah. Okay? So this is important. And most also important, sometimes people are careless. In safeguarding their money or their wallet, this thing. That should not be the case. No? So you can see Imam says, min fiqh al-musafir, hifz al-tafakkur, right? It says that one of the greatest knowledge, understanding about your trip is that you should always take care of your money, of your cash, of this thing, right? Sometimes people are a little careless and they don't realize it. You go out and you have been told that don't leave cash in the rooms. And then when you come back, it's not there, and then you make a big, thing. So try to, of course, at the same time, don't take them to haram. So there may be a place where you can keep in a safety box, or even on the way. Be careful. It should not happen that a person is just careless about it. So it is important to safeguard your luggages, your money, and these things. So we will continue. There are still more slides, but I will give you time to ask questions. So you can either put in a chat box or unmute yourself and ask questions. But please, for now, ask questions for what we discussed, because there are also other slides coming. So Bismillah. Yes, the slides will be posted, inshallah. Don't worry, the slides will be posted. But because this is done by some of the volunteers, so it may not be done by tomorrow, but inshallah by Monday it should be done. We'll try. Yeah. Any other questions, any clarifications? Okay, fine. And whenever you feel like, you can let me know. We'll continue, okay? So then, now we continue here. There are also some short du'as, beautiful du'as. These du'as you should not only memorize now that you are going for ziyarat, but these du'as will help you even normally when you travel, even for a short time. For example, those of us who live in Toronto, Toronto is a huge city, right? GTA is a huge city. You can be traveling for another 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you are still in Toronto. You can be traveling for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, right? It's so wide. So as we travel, we need the safety, So there are a number of du'as recommended. Of course, first is ayat of Quran, subhanallah, hadha, ma kunna lahu muqinin, wa inna ala rabbina munqalibun. I've given you also the reference, right? Then this is a dua which our teacher used to teach in the Hausa. And it's composed also from ayat of Quran. It says, Ya hafidhan la yansa, Ya man ni'amahu la tuaddu wa la tuhsa, anta alladhi qult wa qawluka al-haq, inna nahnu nazzalna dhikr wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Or the preserver, like the translation also is there, right? And then other dua which is recommended, Bismillah billah, tawakkaltu ala Allah, masha Allah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Try to memorize this. These are short duas which will not only help you now, but you can use it throughout as you just try from one locality to another locality in your city. And another dua, Allahumma anta salam wa laka salam, minka salam wa ilayka yaudu salam, right? So these duas we have deliberately put there. We have also given translation to these duas. Try to memorize it. These are beautiful duas. Of course, the slides will be posted, so you can later on either. I just now talked to a caravan leader. He told me that nowadays you can take your phone, your tablets into the haram, except Kazimain. You can take them to Samarra, you can take them to in Karbala, you can take them in Najaf. So you can see that you can take these slides on your tablet and you will benefit from there if possible. Except in Kazimain, they say don't allow this. But things can change. Now, these are fluid, right? Things change because of security.
Come on.
Now, this is important is that as we go for ziyarat, don't overlook the rights of fellow Zawar. You are coming from Canada, yes, from far, you spend a lot of money, but every other Zai, whether even that Zai is coming from Basra, or is coming from Baghdad, is coming from a near place, still he or she has the same right what you have. So that is important. Sometimes people think that no. I am Canadian, I am American, I will spend thousands of dollars for being here. This person has just now walked or just taken a small truck or a bus and just come here. My right is better. No, my right is more. That's not the case, right? All of us are Zawar of Imam Hussein or Zawar of Imam, right? And all of us have the same right. So you can see what Imam says. It does not matter if one visits this house if he does not possess three traits. Now he says, Imam says, if you don't have these three kind of akhlaq, these kind of qualities, then it doesn't matter whether you visit or not. Cautiousness which prevents from sinning, forbearance which helps him rule over his anger. People lose their temper very fast, and good interaction with those who are with him. So you can see good interaction, especially controlling your anger, and finally to stay away from sin. 61 says you should be good companion to those who accompany you. Speak less and say only that which is good. Mention Allah increasingly. Wear purified clothes, perfume, ghusl before going to the holy places. Be humble, establish a lot of prayers, say salawat, and help needy ones. Not look at what is forbidden. Okay? This is important again. Of course, regarding applying perfume, there are hadiths which say that you should not apply perfume if you go to Karbala. So there are mixed hadiths. My advice would be that at least in the first trip, when you go to Karbala, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to talk about Karbala, right? But when you visit there first time, you should have that kind of grief. Remember the tragedy of Imam Hussein. So at least that particular day, first day, try not to apply perfume, okay? After that, if you want to do is okay, but at least on the first occasion, first trip, keep that kind of, kind of etiquette, because we immediately remember what Imam went through, right? Imam Kazim again says, right, that he says, whoever perform prayers for his brothers in belief in his absence is called from the throne, that you have 100,000 times. So this is important, Mu'mineen. As you go there, pray for your parents, pray for your relatives, pray for your family, pray for your friends, pray for your neighbors, right? And just now we pray for Palestinians who are going through such a kind of hell, right? And pray for, especially if you know somebody who is really going through problem, even he or she did not ask you to pray, you pray. That will be so much. Allah would say, imagine this person, he has come all the way from so far and wide and remembers a fellow and prays for that person, how selfless this person is. Allah will say, if this my banda is so selfless, I should be generous towards him. So let's try to keep this in mind. It's very important as we go. Now, this is regarding doing wudu. As I told you that no, you don't delay your prayers, even if you are flying or traveling. So people sometimes, especially when we fly from all the way from North America, sometimes from Europe, our travels are such that during our trip, we will definitely come across the time of prayers. We'll start, sometimes the prayer time will start and finish. In that case, we have no choice, right? We have to perform. Sometimes you want to do zikr in the plane, right? And you would like to be in the state of wudu, which is a good thing. So what we have done, demonstrated, you can go to this link, YouTube. You can even just go type, just Google, search in Google, performing wudu with spray bottle. Just type like that, and you will get this clip, a short clip, which shows that how to perform wudu with a bottle which is 3 ounce or less, because 3 ounce or 100 milliliter is something which is allowed in the plane. Water up to 3 ounce or liquid up to 3 ounce or over is allowed. Over that you are not allowed. So within that such small quantity of water, you can perform wudu. So these points are there. I don't repeat because I'm not showing you physically, but there's also a YouTube which shows how to do this thing. So try to be in wudu, or at least you have the wudu to perform if you want to say your prayers. Yes, it is important. Now, this is something which people miss out a lot. That when they are traveling, they find it a hassle, to say prayers on board. And then they themselves decide, so God is kind, God is merciful. God knows that when I'm back in Toronto, when I'm back in London or Dubai, I always say my prayers on time. If today I'm delayed, or today if I make it kaza, He's kind, He's merciful, He's forgiving. Who are we there to judge on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why don't you leave that on Allah? My prayers, will it be accepted or not? I'm not the one to judge. Only Allah, because my prayer is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even today, for example, if I give you something, a gift, or let's say an honorarium for something you do, it is not upon, me to decide. Once you get it, right, then you will say, yeah, this is worthwhile. That this person has really honored, me with the right honorarium or right gift, right? Keeping into consideration my position. So we are giving this salat to Allah subhanahu. This salat is for Allah subhanahu. Let Him decide that is this the best salat? Is this the right salat? We are not there to make this judgment. So people, sometimes I see them when I tell them. I remember one day I was going for ziyarat. Subhanallah. Yes, in Iraq, I was going for ziyarat, and we stopped somewhere on the way. The people should get down and do the wudu, perform the wudu, and say the namaz. So I saw many people got down. Some of the sisters did not get down. So of course I assumed that maybe they must be in their periods, that's why they did not get down. But some of the men did not also get down. I was disturbed by that. Of course, I could not have told them immediately what you are doing is wrong, because they would not feel good. But when we were having our meal, at that time I just raised. I said, I can understand the sisters did not get down from the bus. There may be some reason, an excuse. But I failed to understand why did not the brothers get down. So one person said, I say my prayers regularly. God knows about it. I don't need to get down here and bother about this thing. I'll go back in the hotel and just do it. So you can see that, subhanallah, he has the audacity to judge himself that how he should pray. No, there are rules you are supposed to. And Mullah Rizvi has his own site, al-m.ca, whereby he has also some of the rules regarding travel. You can look at them, you can try to go through, it will tell you that what are some of the rules. Keep those in mind, okay? It's very important. Also, when you are traveling, if possible, if you have to use the washroom, make sure that even if you use washroom, be careful not to make your clothes najis. Okay, just now it's okay, I'll just use the tissue paper, I'll not even wipe myself. When I go back, when I'm back in hotel, or when I'm back in certain places, I'll do it. No. Who has seen tomorrow? How sure you are that you are going to reach there on time, whether you'll be there, you'll get immediately the place. So try to maintain your taharat as you are traveling. So what happens, you can say your namaz when you want to do it. Namaz is also on board, for example, or wajib namaz. You can do zikr, you're in the state of taharat. So keep this in mind. If possible, maintain your wudu, maintain your tahara. Okay, sometimes I know as you age, as you become senior, it's difficult to maintain your wudu. That's a different thing. Then, of course, you can renew wudu just before prayer. But where you can, try to do that. Subhanallah, I know some people, honestly, I know some of the old people, believe me, they're in 80s. Trust me, I'm telling you, they're in 80s. They tell me that no, when they wake up at night, they have to, right? But once you age, you have to wake up at night once, twice. This is no normal, right? This is because of age. They tell me that when they wake up at night, go to the washroom, they renew their wudu and go to sleep. Can you imagine? They are in their 80s. Can you imagine? Subhanallah. So there are people who do this thing. We can also do that, inshallah. Of course, how do you know when the prayer time is begin? The best thing is have an app on your phone from Halal Trip. There's a halaltrip.com. You can download an app there. Right, once you go to the app, you can just fill in the details about your flight. It will tell you the time of prayers and, of course, direction. Now, keep in mind, these are timings according to Sunni. So what you do is that you can give about, from that time, especially Maghrib. For Maghrib time, because they do Maghrib at sunset, we do little late. Give 20 minutes, from the time mentioned Halal Trip before you say Maghrib. Other time, you just give 5-10 minutes, that's enough. So you are safe. Okay. So use this Halal Trip to try this thing. If you're playing, keep in mind this, because these timings are based on the data you give in about your flight. So if your flight has been delayed that particular day, or that particular section of the flight has been delayed, then also prayer time will be delayed. Keep in mind, you cannot just, for example, if the prayer time said that namaz is going to be at 4:40 p.m. locally, wherever you're flying, 4:40, and your flight was delayed by half an hour, so you should know that no, it will be at 5 p.m. So keep those things when you use this app. Okay, there are instructions, you can look at it. Yeah, this is another thing which people make mistake. People who say their prayers in the plane, they go and do wuzu, and they just sit and say the prayers on the seat. This is not completely correct. You should stand where possible. So let's say that if you are sitting in an exit row, right, or maybe in first class you are there, right? If there is a case, or you are flying, for example, by Iran Air or Saudi Airline, or I don't know which other airlines, Qatar Airline, I'm not sure, which has designated place within the plane whereby you can go and say your namaz. In that case, you cannot say your namaz while sitting in your seat. You can't do that, because you have the possibility to stand up. You have the possibility to do ruku. If you can do also sajda, fine. Otherwise, you can do at least qiyam and ruku and then sit down. So keep this in mind, that it's not always that you can just say your prayers in the state of sitting. It's only that where possibility is not there, then of course you will sit and do this thing. And also when you sit and do, let's say that if even in normal flight, for example, you go to normal seat, it's not a exit row, it's not a first class, right? You are just in an economic seat. You are having economic flight, right? And there you are going to say namaz. So two things keep in mind. You have to know where is the direction of Qibla. So you have to turn towards Qibla. Let's say I'm looking at you just now, right, at the screen. If the Qibla is this way, so I will turn my face Allah Akbar and then sit properly. That's one thing. And for example, if I'm not told enough, I'm not very told that if I want to stand up, I will have a problem. For example, if that is the case, then if you can at least stand up, for the takbir Allah Akbar, do that. So what you do, that although you are sitting on your seat, right, and now you want to start your prayer, what you do, if possible, whilst you are on the flight, right, you can just open your bed, rise right and turn towards Qibla, say Allah Akbar, then sit and then continue doing that. So keep this in mind that where possible, you will stand for what takbir ihram at least and turn towards Qibla. That is important. And then, of course, remaining things you can just do in sitting state. So what happens? You will do the position. No, there are 4 positions in namaz, right? There's standing, there's ruku, there's sajda, and there's sitting. So this is not qiyam, ruku, sajda, and qu'ud, right? So what you do, for example, this is my seat. You can see I'm sitting, my back is completely straight. So this is my qiyam, right? This is my ruku, slight bending. This is my ruku. This is my sajda, right? And then I will just this as a sitting. So usually this is my standing, but I want to sitting. I'm also again my back is against the chair, but then my head is, you can see, is a little towards front, right? So this is known as praying with ishara. That means with gesture, right? So you yourself decide. You decide that what is my qiyam, what is my sajda, what is my ruku, what is my sitting, and follow that throughout in a namaz, okay? And then pray the zikrs which are required. So this is how we see our prayers on board. And this is, of course, when you are think that you are going to reach your destination long before namaz gets qaza, then you're allowed to delay your prayers. But you should be certain about 2 things. One is that, inshallah, we are not sure that we are going to reach, but the scheduled time shows that I'm going to be long before namaz gets qaza, number 1. Number 2, that not only after reaching there, I have an idea that, for example, if I have to go through security, I have to go and find the nearest washroom, to go and do wuzu and a place, all that time is enough, then you're allowed to delay. But it's not that you're allowed to delay. My advice to you is, honestly, the moment time of namaz enters, right, do your wuzu, as I told you, ihtiyat, and give 5-10 minutes, from what the halal trip says, start your namaz. Once you have followed all the rules, that namaz is enough. You don't need to go back and even repeat your namaz. You don't need to. That namaz, what you said, following these rules, what you mentioned, is fine. You should do that. Okay. So keep that in mind, and that is the best thing, because that will show that you are saying your prayers, in a over time, which is a good habit, right? And what can be the better time to have a good habit? For example, people stop smoking once they go to Hajj, right? So we start developing the habit of saying prayers at awwal time during Ziyarat, which is good. Now, usually if you are in any place which is less than 10 days, then what do? We say Qasr Namaz, right? But there are 2 places. One is in Karbala, but not the entire city of Karbala. This is the biggest mistake people do. Only Higher. Higher is a place which is Imam Hussein's grave, where Imam's grave is there, 25 feet. 25 feet all the direction is high. So how would you start measuring? You can't take the pens or measuring tape, start measuring. It's not possible. So the biggest thing is that, within that, those who've been to Haram will find there is a small chamber, room, where this Imam's Zari is there. Then there's the bigger room, and there's a bigger sun and all those things. So if you are within that room, and there's not much rush, and you want to say Wajib Namaz, then you can say that full. Otherwise, no. My advice to you is it's not possible. It's not possible to say your Wajib Namaz in high. because Imam Hussein's grave, mashallah, is always frequented by many people. So even if you are in the Haram of Imam Hussein in Karbala, Namaz Jamaat is taking place, it will still be your qasr if you are going to be less than 10 days in Karbala. Keep in mind. Yeah, but that is not the case with Kufa. The entire city of Kufa, not only that, even the extension of Kufa has extended. So much so that Ayatollah Sistani says that Kufa has extended so much that even Masjid al-Sahla, which used to be outside Kufa, now Masjid al-Sahla is part of city of Kufa. Okay, so in that city of Kufa, you can say full namaz, even if you are there for only a day or 2 days, doesn't matter. So if you are in Masjid al-Kufa or Masjid al-Sahla, or you are in Kufa, then you can say full namaz. Okay, even if you are the tender. Otherwise, in Karbala, most probably it will be what praying qasr namaz. Now, of course, you can see here it is that Masjid al-Kufa has a lot of swara. Why I'm mentioning this thing? Because your group leader will take you there only once. Because they have limitations, right? But if nowadays it's safe also. So if your group leader allows you to get to somebody, local person or somebody who has been there before, if you are in Najaf for many days, let's say 5 days, 6 days, we are Najaf, right? Then you can go to Haram of Mawali to recite your Namaz Jamaat there. But then you can go to Kufa. It's not far. You can take a cab. It's not expensive. A cab will take you. You can ask the same driver that come and pick me up. Give me your local number. Come and pick me up after 1 hour, for example, 2 hours. So Masjid al-Kufa, you've done, first of all, you go with your group. They will do, for example, the Amal of Masjid al-Kufa. You've done that. But after that, if you are still in Najaf, go to Kufa. Go to Kufa for other prayers. Why? One prayer in Masjid al-Kufa is equal to 1,000 prayers. One wajib prayer, if you participate in a wajib prayer in Masjid al-Kufa, is like performing a Hajj with Rasulullah. If you perform a Mustahab prayer in Masjid al-Kufa, is like performing Umrah with Rasulullah. And the Hadith says, Sixth Imam says, if people were to know the merits of saying namaz in Masjid al-Kufa, they would come to it even crawling. In other words, God forbid that you are so sick that you cannot walk, right? You have to crawl, for example. Even you would do that. Even you would crawl to reach Masjid al-Kufa. That is the kind of reward is there. And there is a place in the middle of Masjid al-Kufa to refine Musalla where even hajat get accepted. And just now, of course, pray for people who are suffering in Palestine, but also for other Muslims who are suffering. For example, don't forget Muslims are suffering in Bahrain. There are so many Shias in the jail. There are Muslims who are suffering in Afghanistan. Shias are targeted by Taliban. There are Muslims who are suffering, for example, in Rohingya, right, where they've been pushed out of the houses. So keep in mind, there's problem also in Somalia, there's problem in other places. In Sudan, for example, Muslims are suffering. So try to also pray for them. 1,000 prophets, 1,000 Osiyah, that means the Russians who prayed in Masjid al-Kufa. You can imagine. It will be the venue of Imam Mahdi. He will come and establish his headquarters, or at least sometime he will establish his command center there, right? Masjid al-Sala is part of Masjid al-Kufa. So with that, I have ended most of the slides, and we have some time, about 10 minutes, 8 minutes. So if you have any questions, any clarification, please feel free. I think we also have, let me see if Brother Mehboob is there. I don't know if he's there or not. Okay, I don't see him because I invited Brother Mehboob Merali. Yeah, he's there. He's there. I can see he's there. So he takes kafila to Iraq. So if you have other questions besides religion, for example, some technical or administrative questions, feel free to ask him. Inshallah, hopefully that he will unmute himself and answer. The last time I went was not last year, Rajab Shaban, the year before Rajab Shaban, we had gone with him. So he has been there a number of times. Perhaps he can answer. Any clarification, any questions?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Bismillah.
Could you please repeat regarding the namaz while we are flying? Because
Yes.
I was under the impression that as soon as you get into the plane and the time is there, you just do the prayer. And I've always been doing it sitting, you know. But to what you were saying, could you repeat that part, please?
Yes, yes. People just do it by sitting, but no. Before, when you start wajib namaz, this is wajib namaz. I'm not talking about no namaz shirk or nafila namaz or namaz gufayla. No, those things you can do what you are doing correct. When you do wajib namaz, after doing your wudu and ascertaining that the time has entered, what you do is that you will try to find where the Qibla is. Again, the app will tell you where the Qibla is. So turn towards the Qibla, number one. Number two, if it is possible for you to rise, stand up from your seat without having any kind of problem. For example, at that time there is no disturbance in the plane. For example, the light is not there that you have to put your belt. If at that time, if you can stand up and not only turn towards Qibla, but you turn towards Qibla, say Takbir Allah Akbar, then sit down on your seat. And then continue Bismillah, Rahman, Alhamdulillah, and all those things. And after doing that, once you're doing that thing, and then of course, you decide 4 steps when you are sitting. 4 steps. That this is my standing, this is my ruku, this is my sajda, and this is my sitting. And you're going to recite those things. This is in economic class. But if you are in Saudi airline, if you are in Iran Air, I don't know which other airlines, maybe anybody here can correct me. No, I don't know if Emirates or Qatar or Etihad or I don't know, Depra, but in this, at least Saudi and Iran airline, there is a place within the plane, whereby people can go and say the namaz. Then you will go there and say the namaz. Provided, for example, there are so many people waiting in that place to get in, and namaz getting qaza is different. Otherwise, you will wait, you go and say namaz there. Okay. Or for example, if you're on an exit row whereby you can easily stand up, you can easily do ruku, then you should do at least qiyam and ruku while standing. And if you can do sajda, fine. If you can't do sajda, at least you do qiyam and ruku.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum salam.
Just regarding praying in Kufa, and as you mentioned, Masjid al-Kufa or anywhere in the city of Kufa, including Masjid al-Sahla, is it a recommendation or is it an option or a requirement that you should pray in full?
It's recommendation. Highly recommended.
Highly recommended to pray.
Because every prayer, every rakat counts, right? And this is the wajib namaz. So you are lengthening your namaz, right? So 2, you are saying 4 rakat.
Inshallah.
So of course, you should say 4 rakat in Masjid al-Sahla and Masjid al-Kufa. In fact, you'll be surprised, inshallah, may all of you reach there safely. Once you'll be in Masjid al-Sahla, you'll see that specifically your group leader will take you to Masjid al-Sahla for evening prayers. They will take you there for evening prayers, and you will see that the Imam will rise there and remind people that if you are doing Taqlid of Ayatollah Sistani and Ayatollah Khamenei, say full namaz. They will remind you and impress upon you do that.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Anybody any other questions? Okay, then thank you very much for joining us for this webinar. Some of you also offered their donations. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And let me see if there's any question here. And also, please pray for mu'minin who are suffering. Pray for your parents, pray for your neighbors, and also don't forget us in your du'as. And if you remember, just as far as I'm concerned, just give my salams to the imam. So there is a question here says, say out of so many zawar that enter the shrine of imams, what should one do so the attention of the imams pulls towards him here? There is a recommendation I experienced, but would like to hear some suggestions of the people. No. So here is Brother Mehboob, who takes this kafala, has this question. He says, out of so many zawar that enter the shrine of our imams, what shall one do so the attention of the imams pull towards him? There is a recommendation I experience, but would like to hear suggestions of the people that are going or would like to go for ziyarat. Yes, why don't you, first of all, share with us, Brother Mehboob, and then let's hear from others. Since you already have an experience and you have been there, mashallah, a number of times, why don't you share with us that what do you think would attract the attention of that imam or that holy imam towards a zair? Bismillah. You can chat or you can also unmute yourself and say Bismillah. So you can see his answer is there in the chat. You can just look at it. I will just read it because since we are recording it, so then of course during this chat will disappear. So it is it. After performing this, the dukhul and ziyarat with other recommended etiquettes and rituals, enter the shrine. Once you see the zari, stop on the side, not blocking anyone's path. Okay, find a place to sit looking towards the zari and communicate with the imam. Make that connection with the imam. Don't push anyone because you want to touch the zari. Your akhlaq will draw the attention of the imam. Keep in mind you don't know who is beside you, as many holy personalities, angels, and Imam Mahdi come for ziyarat. Good, very good suggestion. Thank you, Brother Mehboob. Yeah, so keep your etiquette there. Don't push anybody, right? And just be focused. Since we have discussed this thing, there is a hadith which says that your du'as get accepted under the tomb, under the kuba, under the dome from Imam Hussein, right? That is a special privilege given to Imam Hussein by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on account of his great sacrifice. So when you are there are some people there, what you can do is that you can start your dua and then move. Because if you are going to be under the dome and stay there for longer to complete your dua tawassul, dua kumail, any dua you want to recite, and it takes time, and now other people cannot be there. No. You had the intention, you would like to be there throughout the time, but you realize that there is not enough time. What you can do, let's say you decided to recite the tawassul under the dome of Imam Hussein in Karbala, right? So what you do, and especially you notice there are so many people there, right? What you do the niyat, say Bismillah, say the first line, and just move away. Move away, go to a place whereby you can now say your dua with peace, with tranquility. Inshallah, you'll get the same reward, and your dua will be accepted. So always be considerate for others. Any other question, clarifications?
Yes, sorry, Sheikh. I have another question regarding fasting for 3 days. Unfortunately, I could not do the fast when we went for ziyarat, but I did have an intention that I will do it in the winter time. So, hopefully, I hope that it'll be valid for that time,
Yeah, inshallah. These are Mustafa fast, right?
Yeah.
The Mustafa fast.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that the idea is not just to perform the fasting. Actually, the scholars tell us that there is a secret behind this. The fact that we're asked to do fasting acts as a kafara. As we go to these holy places, we want to go there as clean as possible. So this fasting helps us, clean our desires, our gunas, everything. It also trains a person, right? That if, for example, sometime during the trip, your food has been delayed, the meal has not been proper, we don't complain, because this is the biggest thing I've noticed, that people sometimes expect a lot when they go in a group. Oh, I should have the best meal, best breakfast, best this thing. And if it's not there, they make a big thing out of it. They even fight sometimes. It's mind-boggling, as if that we are hungry. So these things are training. This is the whole thing. And of course, after fasting, dua gets accepted. So when you fast first day, second day, third day, you are praying that, Ya Allah, I'm going there. I should achieve my goals, right? So the fasting itself has a wisdom in it. It's not just a ritual. There's a wisdom in this.
Thank you very much for your beautiful lecture. May Allah bless you and increase your
We
knowledge.
need your du'as. We need your du'as. Inshallah. Keep us in your du'as. Keep the Karim in your du'as. Inshallah. I wish you all the way that we have a safe trip. Inshallah. And remember those people who are in need. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum tahirin.
Thank you.
Inshallah. Inshallah. This will be posted soon on the website. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Allah Hafiz.